What is the difference between a physiotherapy and a chiropractor?
USA, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, UAE. So, like in Dubai, for example, I have to register with a DHA. I'm Dr. Vadi. I align spines, minds, and make you feel divine.
Welcome to the Marina Vibe podcast. Today we have Dr. Wadi with us and he's going to explain us a lot of things about his spine. Not just his spine, all of our spines. And that is an information that will be very valuable for you as well as for me to know why it is very important to take care of our spine. Good morning, doctor. How are you doing?
Awesome, Marina. How are you doing?
Amazing. So, doctor, do you think it would have been possible for both of us to meet and sit on this table if the BNI was not the reason?
Well, I think that would have been highly unlikely.
Yes.
So I'm grateful that BNI has connected us.
Yes.
And also, I know from personal reasons you've had first-hand experience of what I do.
Yes.
So I'm really grateful for this opportunity to share my message and let's get cracking.
So, let's get started. I know we came to know each other from BNI, but I think you were in UK before this. You have recently moved to Dubai. Why is this shift?
Oh, it's funny because everyone thinks you moved for business or money, where it's actually very different for our story. So we have a young family, and so we said, you know what? I've been in London, both my wife and I have been in London all our lives. We were born and
Okay.
raised there, and we had our business there and everything else. So we said, now's a new chapter in our lives, and if we don't try now, we'll never know, you know? And I
Correct.
hate living in regret.
Yeah.
So I said, let's just do it, you know? And I've been to Dubai for various vacations, and even part of our honeymoon was here.
Oh.
So for the last 20 years, I've seen Dubai evolve and grow. And I thought, well, let's try it out. Worst case, if it doesn't work, we'll go back, you know? But I don't think we're moving anytime soon.
Anytime. That's the beauty of Dubai. Once you come and once you start liking the place, then it makes you home.
Yeah.
So I was in the same thinking, from India to Dubai, Dubai to UK was my next move.
Right.
But Dubai was so good to me that I'm like, this is the place that I'm gonna call home for the
Absolutely, yeah.
rest of the life is what I'm thinking.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me, why did you choose chiropractor as a profession for yourself?
So actually, my full journey is very unusual. A lot
Yeah.
of things I do in my life, I do it backwards and I do it a different way.
Okay.
So so when I was looking at studying and what shall I, choose as a profession,
Yeah.
from a very young age, I wanted to become something healthcare related, a doctor
Okay.
or something like that. And long story short, when I was in the UK, when you're a teenager, you start choosing your degree.
Yeah.
And so my mom said, because moms know best, said, you should become an osteopath.
Okay.
I said, osteopath? I don't know. Well, I don't want to touch people. you know?
Okay. Okay.
And she said, look, just come and see, because my mom and my brother were seeing this osteopath. I said, I have an open mind. Let me see. Anyway, I met this guy, and he was very cool and very nice. And he said, don't make any decision. Just go to the open day. So I went to the open day, and it was one of those funny things, Marina. One of the big times in my life where you just went with the flow. Like, everything just fell into place.
Okay.
And, I'm not saying I didn't work hard, but it seemed like it was the right grind. And so after that open day, they said, you can come back for an interview. I went back for an interview. And then they said, you have an unconditional offer. So what this means is it doesn't matter what grade I get in college, they will give me a place at university.
Oh, wow.
I thought, well, someone is guiding me. This is my calling.
Yeah.
So I graduated as an osteopath in 2006. And I started my practice straight away. Again, there was an opportunity for me to start. My parents said, look, there's an option here. Why don't you start? Because the original idea was I'm going to work for someone, get
Yeah.
some experience.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I had the chance to open my own business, open my own clinics from day one. Technically, I employed people before I even worked in my own business. But anyway, so then that was that. And then 2-3 years later, I had this feeling there's something missing.
Okay.
And I just, again, another long story short was, let's look at what chiropractic is. And I said, rather than just dabbling with it, let me jump in with both feet and do an actual degree. So I did both an osteopathic degree and a chiropractic degree.
Okay.
And in the UK, it's very unusual. There's only, I think, 2 or 3 of us in the UK who are on both registers. And so that I've met amazing people for both professions, and it gave me real deep insight into an age-old question of what is the difference between an osteopath and a chiropractor and all these things. And really, after that, the clinic grew really well, and my wife joined us in the business, and we did really well. And then I scratched that itch
Okay.
of we achieved all the success that we wanted to from a career point of view.
Um,
So yeah, but the chiropractic is awesome, and so is osteopathy. Anything that's natural and able to give you a chance to heal your body correctly is awesome.
Yes, that is so true. So we had a personal experience also where Vijay came to your clinic, and then we got the session. While I was watching all those videos, I was like, oh my God, it looks so scary. And I think many of us do feel that also, right? When you post those videos and when we hear those joints getting cracked, explain us, should we be scared or should we be like, it's okay, it's a session and it will help us to move better?
So I graduated in '06. I started practicing in '06.
Okay.
So back then, social media isn't what it is now.
Yeah.
And so it's a very funny thing. When I started practicing, patients would come to see me because their friend or colleague or loved one had a great experience. They say, look, just go and see this guy. He's going to help you out. And they didn't really have an idea of what to quite expect. So that was quite nice for me to lay down initially about what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it was after that when things started getting more social media friendly. In fact, in 2019, TikTok HQ got in touch with me.
Okay.
And they said they liked my posts. In 2019, hardly anyone was posting on TikTok. And so I got to be involved in one of the early campaigns called Learn on TikTok.
Okay.
And they advised me, listen, invest in a microphone. I'm like, I've never used a microphone. What do you? I said, because I'm running a practice. I'm like just getting one of my team just to hold a camera, if that. They said, get a microphone. It'll help your visibility more on social media. I'm like, okay, who am I going to argue with the guys who are top in this thing? And then from there, all this heavy publicity on the cracking sound became a big thing in the last few years.
Yeah.
And it's good and bad in that good, okay, it creates this conversation, but the bad is people start focusing more on that. And to me, it's a bit like a car. Doesn't matter how loud the engine of a car sounds, it doesn't dictate its performance. Compare an engine car with an electric car.
Correct.
Electric car makes no sound.
Yeah.
Who cares? It gets you from A to B.
Yes.
So I want our audience to understand better that it doesn't matter about the sound. Forget the cracking. Forget that idea. Because the techniques that you see most famous are the ones that make these sounds. But there are other types of what we call adjustments that don't make these sounds. So my daughter, she has been adjusted every day of her life. Her first adjustment was the day she was born, within 3 hours of her birth.
Yes.
Now, I didn't use those same techniques that I use on adults because it's different, And so the point I'm making is you shouldn't be afraid as long as you're going to someone who has the right training and who is registered.
Correct.
So out of the 195 countries in the world, around 10 to 15 have registration.
Okay.
Regulation, sorry.
Okay.
So like UK, USA, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, UAE. So like in Dubai, for example, I have to register with the DHA.
Yes.
Okay, so I cannot be a chiropractor without that registration, even if I have registration in the UK. I have to re-register with them here. So first of all, check your practitioner is on the register. That means they've had the right training. They are regulated. They have to uphold the training every year. So every year my renewal happens. So I have to prove to DHA, look, I have kept up to date with the training. So I'm up to date and modern and my standards are upheld. So that is how you find someone that's right. Now, if you're really worried, because some people have different phobias, speak to your chiropractor. Say, look, I'm worried about this thing. And then talk through the options that you have. Okay.
Got it.
But again, the funny thing is it lasts for a second. Everyone cracks their necks and,
Yes.
and knuckles and all these things themselves. And I'm like, why
Like
get a
I'm
professional
trying to do it right now.
Right?
Yeah.
And why not get the professional to do it? You're going to be in safer hands.
Yes.
For sure.
Absolutely. Thank you for clarifying it to us, and hopefully you might see me also soon, because that's the fear even I have, but you have clarified it to us today.
So your husband was a guinea pig, basically. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, you can say that. So I have this another question. What is the difference between a physiotherapy and a chiropractor?
That's a great question. So like I said, as an osteopath,
Yeah.
And the chiropractor from UK graduation and regulation,
Yeah.
I have deep insight into these things. And you'll see a lot of chiropractors around the world, in fact, have physiotherapists on their team. So the difference really, and I'm going to, like, there's an overlap, by the way. And I'm also going to be very clear, it's not about techniques. So sometimes some of us look like we're doing very similar things, but it's not what we're doing, it's why we're doing what we're doing. And so when I have a patient, I will assess them. My main thing is to find the root cause.
Yes.
I've delved back in front of one of my colleagues was very sweet last year, a chiropractic colleague in our clinic, and he said, Dr. Dvadi, you practice true chiropractic. I'm like, what do you mean true chiropractic? Like, isn't that what we're all doing? He goes, no, not everyone's doing true chiropractic. I see that in you. You're doing true chiropractic. And what that means is I'm looking at what is the source of that patient's problem.
Correct.
And then what are the best tools that we have, whether it's in our clinic or outside, but what is the best thing that they can have? So one thing we know, and there's loads of studies to back this up, but when you're having spinal adjustments, because all the nerves, the main central nervous system is in your spine. It's housed by that.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure those nerves are working well. And those nerves supply every part of the body. Literally
Correct.
nothing happens in your body without your nervous system knowing about it. So when I'm focusing on that, and then I have my physio come along, and we create a plan together, then they're working on the soft tissues. So the rehab, the exercises, the soft tissue work, they're specialists in that. Yes, I can do that, but I'd rather they get the best. So I normally have, in majority of my patients, a combined approach. And it's nice because we're working together as a team to get the best for that patient.
Absolutely. So you would say it goes hand in hand, and it's. I think people who suffer from these issues should consider chiropractor as well as physiotherapy.
Yeah, and I mean,
and if you need it.
yeah, and I'm not downplaying physiotherapists at all.
Yeah.
I mean, we all do amazing work.
Yeah.
But what you want to do is find someone, whoever it is, not the profession, but the professional. Meaning find the individual that you resonate most with, that you understand their philosophy. I'm very upfront with a lot of my patients. I'm like, I can help your pain. Because a lot of people come along with pain.
Yeah.
So of course, psychologically we think, okay, I have pain. I need to go get it fixed. Pain's gone away. Problem's fixed. But often the pain is the last thing to arise and the first thing to go.
Yeah.
And until you look at what's underlying that and you resolve that, that pain will reoccur and it'll get worse in the background.
Correct.
And so it could be a physio, it could be a chiropractor, it could be an osteopath, it could be an orthopedic surgeon, it could be any of these people. Functional medicine is such a big thing now. Find who you go, actually, this person understands what the root cause of this is.
Correct.
They're looking at every aspect of your healthcare and then creating a plan for you from that point.
Amazing. Thank you very much for the clarification. Now let's ask you some questions. As entrepreneurs, we take health appointments as a distraction,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Distraction from our work.
Absolutely.
And we don't really invest so much into our health. What do you have to tell all of us, all the entrepreneurs out there who are trying to make living and trying to make big profits?
So, I used to have my own practices in the UK and I ran a business all my life, basically, whether it was in the family businesses in some way, shape or form or even my own business.
Yeah.
And I totally understand that, you don't do nothing but, even you don't even want to sleep or eat. You just want to work on your business constantly. And it's a passion project, right?
Yeah.
You can't switch it off. It
Yeah.
becomes this thing that's always there. And you don't want anything to get in its way. But I think we see clues in humans that are pushing the boundaries. And one really cool clue is looking at sports athletes at the top of their game. And, they just want to be training. They want to do drills. They want to make sure those things are right. But what are they also doing? What is the edge? For example, in the US, the NFL, every single NFL team has a chiropractor on their team. Every single one of them. If you look on there's some clips, you can look at them on YouTube, of professional golfers who are getting adjusted on the course before they get up and go and hit the ball, And so there's a lot of clues there in sports, and a lot of people do resonate between sports and business as well. So I think as entrepreneurs, and not just for yourselves and your loved ones, but your teams, to consider, what if we just like a bow and arrow? If we have to sometimes pull the arrow back further So it goes forward further.
Correct.
So sometimes prevention is better than the cure is what we have to consider that message. And there's loads of studies to show this, and you can see it within your teams as well. That if your team is happy, healthy, and well,
Yeah.
if they're sitting at their desk for hours and able to concentrate and focus on their task rather than focusing on the neck pain, or is taking away their focus from their heavy brain work,
Yeah.
that will help them get better and perform better. It'll help you perform better. It'll make you do what you're meant to do more,
Yeah.
Rather imagine sometimes a board meeting where you've got a long table and you're sitting there looking at a presentation, you're twisted this way for an hour. You need to find a way to make sure that your body's functioning well. And that's just at a basic level, So it's part of your whole healthcare routine. You look at some of the top business people in the world, they're so strong on fitness,
Correct.
and not just like ordinary fitness of signing up to a spin class, but like going and doing like these insane ultra marathons and stuff, and they'll push themselves in that point. So
Yeah.
if you look at every aspect of your life, if you can improve all of that together, for sure you'll get so much more out of it.
Yeah. So for all the young entrepreneurs out there, I think it's high time for us. Especially, I'm going to talk it from my point of view. There were in your 20s, you're really thinking of pushing hard and going and trying to prove yourself. Why do you even exist? In your 30s, you kind of figure out the answer. Why do you exist, and how to make better money and how to have stability. And in that course of time, I think health is something that we all tend to forget. The food habits that we have in today's world makes us also forget about how to take care of our health. And this is the time when we try to realize all that will work in its place only if we can take care of ourself, our mental peace as well as physical peace, right?
And you raise a good point. It's actually quite very similar. So my wife
Yeah.
Komal is a dentist by
Yeah.
profession, and so what's interesting is we don't think twice when we think, oh yeah, of course I'm going to take my children to the dentist to get checkups.
Yeah.
That's what we do all their lives, and that's what I mentioned. We've been adjusting my daughter since she was born.
Yeah.
And every day she gets adjusted. Why? Because I want to make sure everything's performing well. And so if you imagine as families, if we make sure that the children are adjusted and taken care of from day one, we're preventing issues occurring in the future. And then what's going to happen is they're going to become healthier and happier.
Correct.
And they're going to then also create this whole cycle of better humans in the future, And it happens very, very quickly. So it's something to consider for all families.
Yes.
Whether you're an aunt, uncle, parent, whoever you are, consider like taking your children there to chiropractors first. There's one of my mentors once said to me that if you imagine that if everyone could open their mouths and see their spines, chiropractors would never need to do any marketing ever. Because you'd be surprised at how much stuff is going on underneath, So yeah.
Okay. Some deep thoughts to think about. Cool. If you could describe a specific profile of a person who needs to see you yesterday, perhaps someone who has been ignoring certain warning signs, what does their daily life and the pain looks like?
Oh, that's a great question. So, there's one thing that I've seen happen a lot where someone will say, oh, I've had this pain for a week or a month or 6 months or a couple of years. And it's been a burning question for a few years now in clinical practice. And I'll be very direct. I'm like, I don't understand. Tell me, if you've had this for that long, why am I meeting you today? Why am I not meeting you that far back? And I don't know if it was going to go away, and it was much, much worse. It feels easier now. And I'm like, what did you do? Oh, nothing. And it raises really interesting questions, because when you look at what happens in terms of physiologically, any pain, let's imagine you hurt yourself really bad now, God forbid, it's going to be really painful. Now, if you left it alone, and it didn't resolve, by the way, let's say your body's not healing as well as it should do, it will feel better and it'll feel easier after 3 months, because that's the point where your condition goes from acute to chronic, because your brain goes, you know what, this person's not taking care of themselves, but we need to live life, because our brains are still reptilian. We're still in our chimp brain. And what we have to then do is go, we need to survive. So we can't be focused on this because we'll get eaten by the tiger. So our brain is designed for survival. But actually, we are living in a world where, like, you and I are not worried that any tiger's going to come and eat us right now.
Yeah.
But if we're out in the jungle, for sure, we're constantly worried about that. So we're living in a thrival state, most of us now. So if we then focus on the fact that, okay, what if we can somehow manage that better? And one is prevention. So let's get checkups more regularly.
Okay.
But secondly is, if that pain, and a lot of people say, oh, I tried massage and I tried stretching, it hasn't gone away. If it's a muscle only problem,
Mm-hmm.
and it's only the muscle, nothing else, typically you'd expect a muscle to heal pretty well within 48 hours. Because it's got a great blood supply, very similar to like if you've done a hard workout at the gym, it'll heal within 48 hours.
Correct.
But if it's lingering out longer and the muscles may still be involved, it means something else is the cause that's affecting the muscles, or the muscles are trying to help. So that's when you want to look at, okay, what is the root cause? And that's when you find out. And some people also think, oh yeah, why do I need to come to a chiropractor? I can crack my back myself. I'm sure you can crack your back yourself, but that's not chiropractic. Chiropractic is finding the point that is a problem. And even for me, I do it on thousands of patients. I cannot adjust myself. I get to see my colleagues regularly. I get adjusted once or twice a week just for maintenance. Okay. And I want to make sure I get adjusted correctly. Just yesterday, I had a patient, and she says, yeah, I have to crack my lower back. She works in an office environment. And she said, I crack my back myself. Okay, why do you do that? I feel so stiff. It feels better for a bit, then it comes back again. Okay, and I checked her out, and I noticed that there was some instability in some levels of her spine, but other parts were really stiff. So I'm focusing on the most stiff joints to make sure everything works well. So when I adjusted her, she was like, whoa, okay, that feels different. I mean, that's what a chiropractic adjustment is. So then is the point of avoiding cracking your spine yourself. Not because I want to make money. I don't care. Like, you do what you want. It's your body, your life.
Yeah.
But if you want to get better, you're coming to me as a professional. We want to make sure everything works correctly.
Correctly. Yeah. Correct. Absolutely. Thank you so very much for the informative session that you have given us. Now tell me, you yourself are also in business, right? How do you keep yourself visible? Like, how do you work on your visibility factor?
There's a very famous chiropractor called John D. Martini. He's
Okay.
also featured on that video movie called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne.
Okay.
And I was very grateful for the opportunity to meet him very recently, last 2-3 years ago. And he said one thing when I heard him speak, which was, the more people you meet and greet, the more people you treat. And it was a funny thing. I chuckled to myself when I heard this, because not only was it such a beautiful thing, but my parents will tell you, ever since I was a child, let's say we went out to a restaurant, I never sat at our own table. I always went to everyone else's tables and I would go and like network naturally.
Yeah.
And it's just who I am. I love meeting people because I love hearing stories, and a bit like you, that's why you
Yeah.
do these podcasts.
Yeah.
And it just inspires me, and it's fascinating to know what's brought someone to do what they do. And I think that's true for business in general. The more people you meet and greet, the more people you can help. And you recently heard me speak about this, where I said, don't try and get business, just try and help people, try and be
Yeah.
a problem solver. And that's what I do. Some of my patients are so funny, like even here in Dubai, more so than ever. Okay, I've only been here a couple of years, but sometimes it's such a transient place in the world that sometimes we were visiting here for 6 months or a year, and I'm like almost like a mini tour guide. I'm like, oh, have you tried this? Have you done that?
Yeah.
This off camera, we're talking about all the different festivals and
Yes.
stuff going on, and it's like, well, just be normal human. Like, you don't try and
Yeah. So what you're
It's-
trying to say is try meeting new people
yeah,
most of the time, and when you start doing that, try to help them rather than pitch your service.
absolutely,
Right?
yeah,
And then everything else falls in its own place.
absolutely, yeah.
Okay. That's the secret of your visibility.
That's my experience, and
Yeah,
that's
okay.
been my story, and that's why even with regards to BNI,
Yeah.
I joined BNI here not for business.
Yeah.
I actually, because of my previous BNI experience in the UK, I knew that's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
My focus was to make some friends.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, who can I make friends with? And actually, that's what you do, and that's important, because
Yeah,
it
I
helps.
think just to mention it, when we go for these BNI meetings every Thursday, it just adds more value to each other's life, and we come to know the person a little bit more better. So now if I have to look for a service, I rather go to my BNI member first and then look outside.
True.
And that kind of a trust gets built on because we keep seeing them on a more regular basis.
That's right.
Yeah, and
That's
that's where I have understood that the credibility keeps getting built on because we see each other more often, and we get to know you not for the business but you as an individual as well.
True.
And then whoever clicks.
Yeah. And on another point, just the other day, it was one of my patient's birthdays.
Okay.
And this patient I haven't seen in about 18 months.
Okay.
And I said, hey, happy birthday. He was like, whoa, you remembered? I'm like, yeah, for sure. Why would I not remember? I tend to message my patients happy birthday. Just did it this morning. And they're like, wow, that's amazing. And that's something I did back in the UK. A lot of our patients back in the UK would laugh that we had more birthday photos with them than their own families.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what we created because it's just a little thing. I'm like, I don't want anything from you. And I always tell my patients, I want you to get better and I want you to be happy. If it's with me, fantastic. If it's not, that's fantastic too. Just get the help you need.
Correct. Okay. And that's a nice touch point also to keep remembering your patient's birthday and just wishing them.
Yeah.
Also adds more value.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. We are coming to the closer of the podcast, and this is the final question for you, Doctor. For the listeners realizing they or their family members are going through something that you described, how do you think they should get in touch with you?
Well, I try and make it super easy. And I'm happy for you, Marina, to share my phone number, which is my phone number.
Yeah.
It's literally me with my thumbs messaging back.
Okay.
So pop the number that you have for me. That's
Yeah.
the number you can pop in there. You literally can send me a WhatsApp message 24/7.
Yeah.
I'll reply within 24 hours, if not sooner. Most of the
Okay.
time I reply sooner. And that'll be me responding. So if you've got any questions about, can I help with this or that, or this person's suffering with this condition, what can we do? I'm here to help. And so
Perfect.
that is what I would suggest. Just get in touch, ask a question. Nowadays we live in the world of AI. I'm still your professional. I'm still here, and I'm not asking for any money. If you're asking me for advice of what to do about something over the phone,
Correct.
just send me a message, and I'll be happy to help.
And I have personally, not me, my husband, guinea pig that you called us. We have personally experienced it, and I have seen when you go for a session with Dr. Vadi, he doesn't really just sit there and try to fix you in 2 minutes or 5 minutes. He really takes that time and effort to understand why you need the service and what could be your root cause. So couple of sessions with him will really help all of us, and I myself am also going to be visiting you soon. Thank you very much for this amazing podcast and giving us a lot more information.
Thank you. And I should add, your husband's got an awesome name because the same name as my dad's. So yeah, it's a good name. Very victorious.
Yes.
Thank you, Marina.
Thank you.